Hi, this is Carson and Peter McPhail with Lifestyle Properties, Maine. Today we are looking at 52 acres in Brownville with a camp.
Yeah, it's very remote property in the middle of nowhere in Brownville. It is the recreational person's dream. Yeah, we've got lakes and rivers in this area. The property itself on the 52 acres, it has long frontage on Alder Brook.
Alder Brook, yep.
So a lot of frontage on Alder Brook, has a beautiful 1+ acre beaver pond out in front of the cabin, and you are all by yourself here at this property. So thanks for joining us today. Come along for a ride over to Brownville with us. We are in Piscataquis County, coming into the little town of Milo. This is going to be the closest service town to the camp in Brownville. Milo has a population of about 2,200 people. And right straight ahead, when we hit the stop sign, there is a bank here. But right straight ahead is Elaine's Bakery and Cafe and Bakery. And it is one of the best bakeries in Piscataquis County. And we got the Milo House of Pizza, which is some phenomenal pizza. But this is Main Street Milo. And if we were to stay on this, eventually you could get over to Millinocket, Baxter State Park. So in the town of Milo, we have a Pat's Pizza here on the left. And then you do have a Walgreens. So you have all your drugstore needs there, and then there is a Family Dollar. And then the last thing we'll see here coming up is a grocery store and a Dunkin' Donuts. There's a small golf course here as well. But we're going to turn right into this trade winds right here. So just to give you a quick tour of the town. So there's your trade winds. It's a nice supermarket chain, Hannaford, part of Hannaford. So we're going to get turned around and head back towards the property, but I just wanted you guys to see just a little piece of the town of Milo, which, like I said, it would be your service town here. So just on the outside of town in Milo, on the way to the property, this is the Pleasant River, and not too far downriver from here, this dumps into the Piscataquis River. So when I say this is the recreational dream place to be in the state of Maine, if you love to kayak, if you like to fish, this section of the river would give you smallmouth bass. Further up from here, the west branch of the Pleasant River has some phenomenal trout fishing. I've actually fished that with a friend of mine years ago from high school, Terry Hatch, and fly fishing it with a black woolly booger. We were catching trout almost every cast, and that's just up above Gulf Hagas. We just turned on to Lakeview Road, and this paved road is the last paved road we'll hit. We're just a few minutes from the property, and then Schoodic Lake is right in the immediate vicinity of this lot. So you're just a few minutes away from Schoodic Lake. Schoodic Lake has over 7,000 acres of water. It is 188 feet maximum depth, and it has some phenomenal trout, lake trout and salmon fishing. Beautiful body of water, very pristine, just a few minutes from the property. So we're turning off from Lakeview Road onto Woodland Lane, and obviously maybe you've seen the ATV signs here that we've filmed, and so you do have direct access to the ATV trails from this property. So Woodland Lane here, it's a seasonal gravel road, and you probably would want a vehicle with a little bit of clearance to get through here. It's a good gravel base, but you got some rocks poking up here and there. So we just turned off from Woodland Lane, and we've on the last stretch of right away into the property. And if you're looking for a camp that has electricity or traditional electricity, this is not the camp for you. There's no utility poles anywhere near this property. You certainly could use, a combination of generator, easily put up some solar in here, and then what a lot of people do is they just use propane appliances. So you'd have a propane cook stove, propane refrigerator. And I've even seen some places where they're putting in propane lights. but I think, you know, LED lights would be fine with a generator or a small solar system as well. So as you can see, that's very secluded in here, very private. We're just getting ready to come onto the property now, and the forest composition here is pretty typical for this part of Maine. It's with beech, birch, maple, fir, hemlock, aspen, and spruce growing intermixed throughout the property. Most of the regeneration found here, you're going to find balsam fir, red spruce, and assorted hardwoods that range from 8 to 15 feet in height. And then the overstory trees are generally here, they're going to be 4 to 6 inches in diameter, and they'll range from 30 to 40 feet in height. And then we're almost into the camp here. But as far as marketable timber goes, you know, if you did a harvest right now, you might get $3,000 to $5,000 worth of timber. Really, this is something that you would leave, you know, leave it here for 20 years and you'd have yourself a nice savings account in what the timber value would be in 20 years from now. The camp itself is 16 by 20. It has T111 siding and an asphalt roof. It already has a small propane tank, but you can see how well it's been constructed here. They've actually set the camp on these concrete cinder blocks, which you usually don't see when you're this far in the remote wilderness. You don't see that very often, this being constructed that well. And then the view from the camp, there's the beaver pond. Right straight out here is the beaver pond. See the beaver house there. But let's head inside and take a look. So we enter the cabin, and it's just a one-room camp, 16 by 20, as I've said outside. You've got the beginnings of a kitchen here, small gas stove, and pretty well insulated here. Wouldn't take hardly anything to heat it. They've started with some drywall. We've got a neat little Fisher wood stove here to heat the camp, and then get either a pot of coffee or some hot water for some tea. And then we'll head upstairs and take a look there. Windows here are thermal pane, so really you could probably heat this place with a candle. So here we are upstairs, and we've got plenty of space for a good sized bedroom up here. And then if you really wanted to get fancy, what I would probably do, because you got this view of the pond, is I would probably open this up with a full-size door and put a balcony off that. Would be easy enough to do. Give you one more look at the downstairs. Put a little dining table over there, a small little living room area, probably a dining room table right here in the kitchen. Then a TV on that wall if you so chose. So one other thing I wanted to tell you about this particular area where this is such a great location, the town of Brownville. We are not that far from what's called as Katahdin Iron Works. And Katahdin Iron Works, it's a road that'll get you out into an area where you actually have access to the Appalachian Trail, and a section of that's called the 100-Mile Woods. And from there, some of the scenery, some of the hiking trails, Gulf Hagas is one of them, Falls, and then some hikes that you can take to get up to some of the local mountains. Just absolutely spectacular area. If you're a hiker, this is a dream place to be. And again, ATVing right from the property, canoe, kayak, or go boating in Schoodic Lake and fishing there. So recreational opportunities are endless at this property, at this site. Now outside the camp, we've got a little trail that leads over to the amenities. We do have an outhouse here, and a lot of people ask me when they buy properties from us, they say, hey, we're just going to put in an outhouse. And it used to be that simple. You could just say, hey, I'm going to put in an outhouse. I'm going to dig a hole and throw a building over it. But today you have to actually have a soil scientist engineer do a blueprint for you for an outhouse. And the cost for the soil scientist, depending on where you are in the state of Maine, but it would average out at about $450 for that. And then go ahead and dig your hole and put in your primitive system. So here's some of the forest that I had talked about earlier. You know, I've got this yellow birch right here that's 30 feet tall, and it's about 6 inches in diameter at breast height. And then we've got a mixture in here of some maple. You know, you've got some nice beech for firewood, so you wouldn't have any issues with, there's a really nice sized beech right there. All kinds of firewood. Keep yourself warm throughout the winter if you wanted to come in here and snowmobile. Use it as your base camp for snowmobiling. That would be easy enough to do. So I've come down off that hardwood ridge where the camp is into a lower section of the land. And as you can see here, guys, it's a very thick forest. Very thick forest, but you still get a nice mixture of hardwoods in here. A lot of fern growth in here. Here's a seasonal rundown through here. You can see where the snow melt, where the water comes through. Continuing on here in the forest, and we should be getting close to Alder Brook. I wanted you guys to see what that looks like. And we've had a drought season so far, and we are in mid-July, and not a lot of rain. So whatever water we see here in the Alder Brook is going to be low, but it still has a flow. I'm impressed. Pretty spot here though. Pretty peaceful here, everyone. I could see putting a gazebo up down here with a hammock inside it, maybe a good book. Great place to relax.
Hey guys, this has been Carson and Peter McPhail, Lifestyle Properties of Maine. Today, just to recap, we looked at 52 acres in Brownville with a camp on it and a little over an acre beaver pond with that.
Yeah, the camp itself, again, 16 by 20. And the taxes here, I think they're just over $1,100 a year.
$1,100.
So cheap taxes for the amount of property that you're getting. Beautiful frontage on Alder Brook. 10 minutes from the boat launch here. Actually, less than 10 minutes to the boat launch on Schoodic. So, you know, ride your ATV down here, bring your truck down here, your boat, your kayak. So recreational dream property, really, guys. It's, you know, hiking, fishing, hunting, you name it. Opportunities are endless. So the price here?
$92,500.
$92,500. So, hey, Peter and Carson McPhail, Lifestyle Properties of Maine, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again real soon.